Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting of Tuesday, May the 14th, 2024. We're formally called to order. We're going to call the roll. Alderman Barnhill.
Here.
Alderman Blanton, absent. Alderman Caesar.
Here.
Alderman Peterson.
Here.
Alderman Berger.
Present.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Present.
Alderman Potts.
Present.
Alderman Baggett.
Present.
The mayor's here also. We'll now begin with an invocation. I'd ask Alderman Barnhill if he'd lead that. If we'll stand, then I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you bow with me? Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer tonight, thanking you for this great nation that we live in, a nation of freedom, a nation of blessings. We know that you're responsible for these, and we give you thanks for allowing us the opportunity to live in this great country. We ask your blessings upon the first responders who protect our freedoms, on the soldiers who are in foreign countries fighting for the freedoms that we enjoy. We know that many times it's a hardship on the families. Ask you to be with those families. And we ask also that you be with each of the aldermen tonight as we make decisions that ultimately affect the direction in which the city of Franklin will go. We ask that you give us spiritual wisdom and guidance. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now it's time for setting of the agenda. So are there any considerations for changing the order of the agenda or identifying any areas in the consent agenda that you might want to move some items? If not, I would entertain a motion to set the agenda.
So move.
Second by Alderman Potts. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to citizen comments on items that are not on the agenda, and I have no speaker cards in that regard. So we'll continue to move forward with any communications from the Williamson County Commission. I see none. I didn't see anybody. And then we'll go to approval of the minutes from April 23rd, 2024 work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. I'd entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Alderman Berger, seconded by Vice Mayor Brown. Any discussion, additions, corrections? Seeing none. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to recognitions, and we'll begin by a recognition of a business that's celebrating 50 years, and I'd advise Julie Garland and her family to come up, and her employees. And I'll let Julie introduce everybody, because I can't remember everybody's name.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. It's so good to see you all. I'm Julie Walton, third generation at Walton's Antique and Estate Jewelry in downtown Franklin. This is my daughter Kate, fourth generation. My sister Katie, third generation. My son James, fourth generation, and honorary third generation, my husband Patrick Bartlett. Whether he chooses to or not, yeah.
We'll have another photo opportunity after we do this, and we'll just go right up there. Great. Well, whereas Walton's Antique and Estate Jewelry began over 50 years ago by Melville Walton, an entrepreneur who had a sincere passion for antique jewelry, which my wife also wears, by the way. Whereas Melba decided to open her first brick and mortar location during a time when women were not able to get a loan on their own. So she had her husband, Jack, co-sign in order to pursue her dreams of becoming a business owner. And whereas Walton's has been locally owned and operated in Franklin, Tennessee since 1974, is committed to building lasting relationships with clients based on trust, integrity, and personalized service, And whereas today, under the stewardship of the third generation of the Walton family, they continue to carry forward Melba's legacy of providing exceptional jewelry that becomes cherished heirlooms for future generations. And now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, Mayor of the City of Franklin, congratulate Walton's Jewelry on celebrating 50 years. Local businesses are the heartbeat of this community, and I encourage all members of the community to join me in celebrating this remarkable accomplishment. And please go by and buy something. Yeah. So let's have a picture and. Here, cool kids.
Say diamond.
Check my bag. Pearl.
This one is, yeah. I picked it up a couple weeks ago. Take my sleeves up about a quarter inch.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yours.
Continue on now with a proclamation. So the next one is National Public Works Week. And who's gonna, right behind me? Wow, don't scare me so much. Okay, good to have you, Mark. Whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Franklin. Whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services cannot be provided without the dedicated efforts of Public Works professionals who are engineers, leaders, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for building, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, and treatment parks and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens, where it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Franklin to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs, whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th Annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, Mayor of the City of Franklin, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to 24th, 2024 as National Public Works Week. And Mark, if you continue on good behavior, maybe we'll extend that to 8 days next year, 9 days the next year, and eventually get you a month.
I see
So
that preservation has a month.
they've earned it.
Oh, there's only two
We'll
of them.
get you there, Mark. Don't worry. You're doing important work. Yeah. That's all right.
You get the back close.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the great honor of working with about 300 public works professionals that work with the city of Franklin. We touch our citizens every week, thousands of them, and they do a wonderful job. And we appreciate all the support you give us, and thank you to all the folks we work with here in public works. So thank you.
So this week, when you see somebody in Public Works, please tell them thank you. So that'll be great. Next is National Preservation Month. That just doesn't seem fair, Mark. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is.
They've been at it longer.
Yeah, they've been at it longer. Whereas the city of Franklin has a strong and broad-based tourism industry, including historic sites and attractions, charming downtown areas, outstanding lodging and dining facilities, first-class meeting venues, unique and distinctive shopping, and unparalleled scenic beauty. And whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth and sustainable development, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, particularly Franklin, site of 7 historic districts, and for all Americans of all ages, particularly the citizens of Franklin who preserve and support the Franklin Historic Districts as assets for our city, state, and nation. Whereas the preservation of historic architecture and landscape helps define and promote Franklin's communal sense of identity, and whereas important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as people. Whereas the National Trust for Historic Preservation created the Preservation Month program in May of 1973 to spotlight preservation efforts on a local, state, and national level. Whereas the theme 2024 National Preservation Month is People Saving Places, which shines the spotlight on everyone doing the work of saving places in big ways and small. And now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, the City of Franklin, do hereby proclaim May 24 as the National Preservation Month. So.
I just want to make sure that everyone here knows who some of these dedicated employees are that work in planning in our preservation program. This is Emily Heffer. She's our preservation planner. And this is Elizabeth Boulay. She's our assistant preservation planner. They do a wonderful job. They process so many applications and different all types of different programs that come through the office, and we're just really proud of them. They do a wonderful job, and I just want to give them the recognition they deserve. So thanks y'all so much.
Miscellaneous reports, and I'm going to recognize Mr. Stuckey as I walk back.
I'm going to do a couple calendar reminders. One, this Friday, we don't just celebrate Public Works Week, we bring it to the people. We have Touch a Truck going on, which is one of the most popular family events every year. It is at Jim Warren Park on Friday evening from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. An important distinction within that time frame: 5 to 6 p.m. is the no horns hour. So if your little ones are spooked by lots of horn honking, come between 5 and 6. After 6, there'll be horns all over the place. So just get ready for that. So if you're big on the horns, then after 6 is when you want to be there. But it's a great event, great family event. And you see the folks who do the work and the equipment that helps them do it. And our city team is always proud to kind of show off that great equipment and the great work that they do. So come join us at Jim Warren Park on Friday evening. I want to make some adjustments to the schedule we published for some board meetings or committee meetings. We are going to cancel the May 23rd Capital Investment Committee. So that's me taking away. Now I'm going to give it. The joint conceptual workshop on that same evening, we would like to start at 4 p.m. Because there's a lot of applications coming through and important information. I think we have some zoning ordinance updates as well. So that we need a little extra time there. So we're going to take the Capital Investment Committee meeting off, but start joint conceptual workshop an hour early at 4 p.m. in this room. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Any other miscellaneous reports? Alderman Baggett.
Yes, this is Rodeo Week here in Franklin. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the Franklin Rodeo, put on by the Franklin Inn Rotary Club, will be taking place. World's best popcorn and cotton candy served there. And would encourage the community to come out. Still some tickets, I think standing room only available. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
One more calendar thing, Mayor. I'm just being told we had an error in our Franklin Transit Authority Board meeting. That should be, when, Shauna? The 21st at 4 o'clock, not the 16th. So May 21st at 6 o'clock, or not 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
What date again?
May 21st
21st. Gotcha.
at 4 o'clock. Franklin Transit Authority.
Mayor, I'll throw one out. Fun one tomorrow, don't forget, at 1 o'clock, we're cutting the ribbon on the Harlansdale, the much anticipated and awaited Harlansdale pedestrian bridge. So come out to Harlansdale and walk the bridge.
Absolutely.
Great project.
Any other ones? Good stuff happening. Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda, and all items under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body. They'll be approved as recommended by committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. Tonight, we're considering items 23 to 34, and I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve?
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Second.
Second by Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item number 7, which is this is a public hearing, consideration of resolution 2024-06, a resolution to annex 2 properties consisting of 35.95 acres located west of Franklin Road, south of South Berry's Chapel Road at 2247 South Berry's Chapel Road, joining the city limits within the northern part of the Franklin Urban Growth Plan. Established a public hearing. I will say right now that since the notification did not conform to the state regulation, we're having to ask that this be deferred until May the 28th. But we'll still have the public hearing if there are people that want to speak to it tonight on all those items 7, 8, 9, and 10. Is that correct, Joey?
Yes,
So,
sir.
go ahead, Joey.
Yes, so as you were stating, the annexation and plan of services, there was an error in the published public notice for those 2 items. They did not include a map of the properties requesting annexation or locations of where the public can view the resolutions for those items. So because of state law, we are required to defer the items to the May 28th meeting. Thank you.
Do you want to address any of these items as we go through it, as we usually do?
I certainly can, if that's your wish. Typically, we do save that for the actual public hearing, but whatever you prefer, I can do.
Well, I do want to offer the opportunity for anyone that wants to speak to this issue. I do have Josh Lee who wanted to speak if there were other people that wanted to speak on it. If not, we'll continue to move forward. And I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion to defer this until May the 28th, 2024.
Mayor, I move to defer the item to May 28th, 2024.
Second.
Appropriate motion, second. Any discussion?
If I just may I just want to make a comment that while, unfortunate to have to defer again, I have talked to both the applicant and the neighbor groups, and I do believe we are pretty close to something that could be very much identified as a win-win on this project. So we'll be meeting with staff next week, and hopefully we're able to come to something that everybody can be excited about here. Maybe if not excited, at least happy and to be done with, so.
Thank you. Ready
Yep.
to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item number 8, public hearing consideration of ordinance 2024-09, an ordinance to zone 39.95 acres planned PD district and Hillcrest overlay district, and to rezone 16.66 acres from residential R1 to PD 0.30 district for the property located west of Franklin Road, south of Berry's Chapel Road at 2247 South Berry's Chapel Road, preserve at Sheridan PUD. Joey, you're not jumping up there. This is a public hearing. Does anyone want to speak to this body? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to defer to May the 28th.
Mayor, I move to defer to May 28th, 2024.
Appropriate second by Alderman Potts. We'll give it to him. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Number 9, this is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2024-05, a resolution adopting plan of services for the annexation of property located west of Franklin Road, south of Barry's Chapel Road at 2247 South Barry's Chapel Road of the city of Franklin. Established a public hearing May the 28th. Same thing, we would defer it to May the 28th, so.
Move to,
If anyone wants to speak to this item, if not, I'll close the public hearing, ask for a motion.
move to defer to May 28th, 2024.
Is there a second? Second. Second, Alderman Potts, thank you. Any discussion, ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill,
Yes.
Alderman Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item 10. This is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2024-07, approving a development plan for the Sheridan PUD subdivision with one modification of development standards, connectivity for the property located west of Franklin Road, south of Barry's Chapel Road, located at 2247 South Barry's Chapel Road. Established a public hearing May the 28th, 2024. Does anyone want to speak to this body? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mayor, move to defer this item to May 28th, 2024.
Appropriate motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Berger. Any discussion? Ready to vote? We're going to start from it's not appropriate to say the bottom of the list.
It's all right.
We're going to start at the other end.
Thank you.
How's that?
Going to start on your left.
Start on my left. I like that. Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
That went smooth. How about item number 11? This is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2024-4, an ordinance to rezone 21.29 acres from Regional Commerce District to Plan PD District for the property located at the northwest corner of the intersection of Cool Springs Boulevard and Carruthers Parkway.
Thank you, Mayor. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property from Regional Commerce 12 District to Plan District PD 315,014 with 244 hotel keys. To accommodate the proposed development plan, the development plan has been submitted concurrently, and Envision Franklin places this property in the Regional Commerce Design Concept, and the rezoning does meet the goals of Envision Franklin. FMPC, along with staff, recommends that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approve ordinance 2024-04.
And does anyone who wants to speak to this body? If I might just ask Mr. Vogren, I know you're going to give a presentation. You plan on doing that on the development plan? Is that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We'll do that in the second development plan, but appreciate any questions I can answer for this rezoning. Thank you.
So I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 12, this is consideration resolution 2024-03, approving a development plan for the Meridian South PUD subdivision with 6 modification development standards, signs and parking for the property located at the northwest corner of the intersection of Cool Springs Boulevard and Carruthers Parkway, located at 501, 601, and 1000 Corporate Center Drive, Meridian South PUD subdivision.
Thank you. This one's going to be a little bit longer. And I have asked that Casey provide you with a cheat sheet for the MOSs. So when I get to those, hopefully it's easy to understand. So the applicant has submitted a development plan for Meridian South PUD subdivision. It's a multi-phased commercial development located on 3 lots. The applicant is proposing 315,014 square feet of existing and proposed commercial space, 244 existing hotel keys, and then 6 MOS requests for a site that is composed of 21.29 acres. Staff supports the goal of the proposed sign package, which are 5 out of the 6 MOSs that are being requested tonight. It's to help add pedestrian-oriented features, and the applicant's explanation of their package does meet the goals of Envision Franklin. With that said, the goals described for wayfinding, in staff's opinion, can be achieved with the City of Franklin's current sign ordinance. So MOS number 1 is a request to allow for irregular shaped signs. Irregularly shaped sign MOS requests have a precedent of being approved when related to the element that is representative of the project. So staff, along with FMPC, do recommend approval of MOS number 1. MOS number 2 is to request to allow the addition of 4 monument signs and a height increase to 16 feet, 15 feet, 14 feet, and 12 feet for the proposed monument signs with up to 4 sides and a maximum sign area of 325 square feet per side. From a dashboard survey of surrounding businesses, staff could not identify any monument signs in the area that deviated as significantly as this proposal from the current height requirement for monument signs of 6 feet. With that in mind, staff did recommend disapproval of MOS number 2. We also encourage that if it is the desire of the Boma to approve this request, that staff advises that the MOS allow for the quantity deviation and height deviation for the signs internal to the site, but that they require that the signs on the periphery meet the requirements for sign area, height, and additional standards for monument signs within the ordinance. FMPC did recommend approval of this MOS with a 4-2 vote with staff's recommended condition. MOS number 3, requesting to allow 9 flag signs and to add vinyl and painted aluminum with graphic perforation as an allowed material. Staff is not concerned with the proposed flag quantity due to its allowance based on number of lots. The proposal to add painted aluminum with graphic perforation as an additional material meets the intent of the allowed material within the zoning ordinance requiring a durable material. So FMPC, along with staff, recommended approval of MOS number 3. MOS number 4, requesting to allow 8 convenience signs that are a maximum of 12 feet in height and may have a maximum of 19 square feet per side with internal illumination. Staff does not have concerns with the additional quantity of signs, as all the proposed signs are internal to the site and not seen from Cool Springs Boulevard or Carruthers Parkway. The applicant has not provided sufficient information as to why the additional height, size, and internal illumination of the signs is necessary for the success of the development or for the goals of meeting the wayfinding needs of the patrons. Staff recommends disapproval of MOS number 4, and if it is the desire of the Boma to approve this request, staff advises the MOS allow for the quantity deviation and the sign area, but require that the sign meet the requirements for sign height and additional standards for convenient signs within the ordinance. FMPC recommended approval with a vote of 5-1 of MOS number 2. I'm so sorry, of MOS number 4. MOS number 5. Requesting to allow a maximum of 2 freestanding directory signs with a maximum of 21 square feet and 9 feet in height. In addition, the structure shall not exceed a maximum of 42 square feet and shall have internal illumination and electronic display. The proposed MOS is requesting 2 signs that are referred to as directory signs. Per our ordinance, they are in every way, location, height, /area, and lighting opposite of the requirements for a directory sign. When reviewing the request for MOS number 5, the staff was unable to find justification for why there was a need to modify every standard laid out for a directory sign. FMPC, by a vote of 5-1, along with staff, recommended disapproval of MOS number 5. MOS number 6. Requesting a reduction in the base parking rate for the uses of restaurant, retail, and hotel. This proposed modification of standard request was supported by a shared parking study, national studies, and the study of the site as it stands today. Therefore, FMPC, along with staff, recommended approval of MOS number 6. FMPC unanimously, along with staff, recommends that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approve Resolution 2024-03 with conditions. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Everybody's got their cheat sheet?
Wait, let me ask you,
Good.
now, are we still, we're not talking about rezoning, we're talking about the development plan?
We're on the development plan, item 12, and the public hearing is still open, and Mr. Vogren, is now the time? And I again apologize for not recognizing you in the work session, and so we had that discussion to make sure that you did have some
Appreciate you,
time
Mayor.
to make your comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Board, Mayor Waldman. Thank you, Chelsea, for that intro. I'm going to keep it short and succinct. I'm going to have my colleague Paul Bowman just talk a little bit, present a little bit about the signage, so you can talk about that. But as you know, this is pretty much a straightforward PD rezoning. We're adding 14,000 square feet of commercial, animating this campus in addition to the existing office and hotel use, so 14,000 square feet. But with that is wayfinding graphics, pedestrian signage to animate the space, give pedestrian users direction, guidance for the campus entirety for North and South Campus. So with that, we really want to focus on MOS's number 2 and number 5. As Chelsea said, she's given you a cheat sheet. We sought approval and guidance recommendation from Planning Commission for most of the items except for 2 and number 5. 2 is just asking for quantity and height for the 2 external signs along the periphery of the project, and we'll showcase those here shortly. The second MOS, number 5, is directory signs, which don't fit the box of the zoning ordinance, as Chelsea has mentioned, but they have been done at Columbia State Community College as well. So you can see those on campus. We're asking that similar type signage for pedestrians, and these are located internally to the project, the directory signs, adjacent to 2 retail buildings to allow wayfinding, branding, signage for pedestrians within these uses to navigate through the campus. So with that, we'd like to just focus on 2 and 5. I'd like to have Paul to come up here and just present real quickly the rationale for that and give you some guidance for that discussion period. So I appreciate your time to do this, Mayor. Appreciate it. I'll play Vanna if you need help, Paul.
We thank you for your time. I'm Paul Bowman, and I represent Cooper Carey, and we're working with Boyle to create the signage and wayfinding as a part of a rebrand for this project. As Gary mentioned, we just want to focus on number 2 and number 5 for the modification of standards. We've created sort of a cheat sheet for you as well in the exhibit. So in the first few pages of your 11 by 17 document that you have, we've sort of boiled it down to just the essence of what we're requesting and why, and to give you a little bit of context. But essentially for the goal of this project is these are part of a larger signage and wayfinding program to rebrand the development, to create enhanced visibility for not only the tenants, but to attract new national level retailers and businesses, and to support the tenants that are there. So we're trying to increase connectivity between the south parcel and the north parcel, but also increase visibility and connectivity for the businesses. Modification number 2 is essentially to allow us the increased number for those exterior monuments that are facing the exterior of the property. So it's size and quantity. What we're asking for is the Cool Springs Boulevard location for it to deviate from 6 feet to 16 feet. And that 16 feet is created because of the size of the structure. So you heard previously that we're approved to have irregularly shaped structures, but what we're doing is creating something that's a little bit more artful and a little bit more of a sculpture that's based off the brand identity for the project. So in order to get more visibility, we're using that branded structural sculptural element that will be incorporated into the stone wall. That's what's causing the height increase. So we're not, the monument and the signage itself does not require the increased area or height. The Carruthers Parkway location, again, is from 6 feet, an increase from 6 feet, which is what the sign ordinance allows, and we're asking for a deviation for 15 feet. And again, that's brought about because we're required to draw a box around the entire structure. And so that sculptural element, it's very open. It doesn't actually take up 405 square feet, but if we draw a box around that entire thing, it takes up 405 square feet. So what we're showing in those exhibits is the actual height of the monument sign at Carruthers is within the height of the existing monument. When you look at the height and size, it's the branded sculptural element that is the increase in size. The reason we want to do this is because you can see in the context images, these are 4-lane and 9-lane highways if you include the turn lanes. So best practices for visibility require us to analyze the speed limit, how fast people are moving, distractions, decisions they have to make to move into the correct lane. And so essentially at 45 or 40 miles per hour, you have 3.5 seconds to visually process some information. And in our standards, that equates to about 20-inch tall letters. So we're below that standard, right, of the height of those letters from Meridian Cool Springs. So we're using these sculptural elements to create enhanced visibility because this is part of the new brand for the site. And so it helps us achieve that without having large letters and a larger sign. For modification number 5, that's our directory. As you heard previously, the sign ordinance has a sign type that is called a directory, but that directory is only a 4.5 square foot panel that has to be mounted to a building wall, and it cannot be internally illuminated. So that is intended to serve a directory for a building. We're trying to create a directory that serves the entire mixed-use campus. And so in order to have something at a size and a scale, it needs to be freestanding and it needs to be internally illuminated. And we're basing this off of standards for DOT. You can see the page we have for context that explains the consistent height for signage. So it's 7 feet to the bottom of a stop sign. Pretty much all directional signage for cars and pedestrians is best suited at that height for a development of this size. And so we've asked for the directory sign to be at least 9 feet tall to allow us the possibility to put some pedestrian directional information above the map. But this is also based on, the size is based on being able to incorporate the elements that are necessary for development of this size. So not only a map, but a tenant listing, directional information. We are asking for it to be internally illuminated so we can have the ability to put a digital display. Exterior grade digital displays have a specific size because of the resolution that's required. And so all of those things have gone into the reason why we're requesting this size. So we've given you some examples of what the directory could look like. So it is not just a massive wall. It can have a finial at the top, or it can be post and flag mounted. And so that's why the height increase also accommodates design elements such as that. At this point, I'd like to answer any questions that you may have.
Mayor?
Go ahead, Alderman Baggett.
And this might be for staff too, so internally lit, does that incorporate the digital displays? I mean, that's the same terminology.
Yes.
There's no separate terminology for, it's just internally lit, can mean like a light bulb inside something, or it can mean a digital display. And there's no way to differentiate.
What do you mean by that?
So our sign ordinance specifically highlights internally lit versus externally lit. So.
That would be internal, yeah.
Yeah,
This is
and
internal.
externally, the reason why another external lit is because those signs are small. Directory signs are intended to be small on the side of a building. That
Oh, in
is
the building.
the intent in the zoning ordinance. So when an external light is mounted, it hits the one small sign. So that's why there is a deviation from that. But, I mean, this is a little bit different than what the directory sign
No.
is outlined in our zoning ordinance.
So this is internally lit.
Alderman Potts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a question. It's on, I'm going to call this page 3 of your
Yep.
packet. And my question is, and staff may need to answer this one, but who owns and maintains the stone walls on all 4 corners of the intersection?
Masters.
They are not maintained by the city, but by the Property Owners Association, I
And the
believe.
Masters.
Cool Springs East subdivision. Thanks, Gary.
Okay.
Yep.
And my follow-up question on that is, has there been any partnership with that group since this is a change to that intersection regarding signage? As we look at where your corner is versus the other, we can see two, but I know the Marriott's on the bottom corner here. Have there been any conversations or feedback on that?
Not to my knowledge at this point.
You haven't seen.
And does it require these changes, does it require their approval for you to be able to do these installations specifically at that corner?
Not to my knowledge. Do you know?
That's not their property. Why would they have a say?
The answer is not 100% clear, is that we're not sure that is part of their guidance purview, is part of their guidelines.
Well,
And I asked just from the standpoint, if it's going to be installed there, if y'all don't own that, then y'all are going to maintain your sign, but they'll maintain the stone fencing?
This wall is inside the property, so it is within the site, it's not outside the
Oh,
right of way, it is within the property of the site. So
Okay.
inside the property limits.
Sorry, the optics on this make it
Yeah.
a little
It's
challenging.
inside the right of way
Okay.
of the property.
so they're responsible for it.
Yeah. I'd like to go ahead and close the public hearing maybe and get a motion.
Yeah.
The plan would be to get a motion to bring the whole thing before the board, and then we'll go through each modification of standard and vote on those. And then after we've made a determination on all 5 modification of standards, then we'll come back and vote for
Yep.
the entire motion with the modification of standards.
I move for approval.
Second.
Seconded by the vice mayor. We'll now go to modification of standard number 1, requesting to allow for irregular shaped signage.
Move for approval.
Appropriate motion, is there a second? Appropriate motion and second. Any discussion on modification standard 1? If not, we'll go to the vote. Alderman Barnhill,
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson,
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes?
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Modification Standard 1 passes. We'll now go to Modification Standard 2, which is requesting to allow the addition of 4 monument signs and the height increase to 16 feet, 15 feet, 14 feet, and 12 feet for the proposed monument signs with up to 4 sides with a maximum sign area of 325 square feet per side. Is there a
I
motion?
move for approval for the modification of standard number 2.
Appropriate motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Alderman Baggett, thank you for the second. Any discussion? Alderman
I would
Berger.
just like to say, I think what they're proposing here, even though it's outside our standard a little bit, I think what they're proposing and the location they're proposing and the location and how they're presenting this in rebranding the area, the size and the quantity seem to be in keeping with this area. I honestly don't see that it's that intrusive. In fact, I think it will really enhance the visibility of the branding of this area, and I understand that all day long. So, and I don't think it's excessive, especially when we look down at Berry Farms, look around at what they've got at Berry Farms, and I thank you for providing the Avalon, some of the Avalon things too. We'll get to that directional sign later, but I'll support that for that reason.
Any other comments or questions?
I would just say, and maybe in opposition, but with respect to Alderman Berger, I feel like 15 feet is one thing. Now we're going another foot above, understanding it's a little bit higher traffic and it is in your area. But the other near height sign, I think, was a Cool Springs sign that's on that side of the interstate, and it was just around 13 feet. And so I worry about us continuing to extend the height of this. I'd love to see it at 14 or 15 feet. 16 feet seems like a little bit concerning for me.
I'd like to make one more comment. I think with all the activity and the amount of traffic at that corner, I think this is why they've gone to that height. because it's extremely busy, and in order to capture someone's attention, that, hey, they're looking for Meridian, well, this is Meridian. You've entered Meridian. And I think with all the height of the trees and the buildings, that it would get lost. And I think this is why I think it's more appropriate at that height, at this location. Not all locations, but this location.
You may.
I would also just say, I mean, this is an interesting point that you raise, Alderman Berger. The wall behind it is, what, about 4 feet? Do we know how high the stone wall is behind
It's
it?
incorporated in it. It's incorporated into it.
And there is a berm behind the
And
wall,
then it
right? So
continues to go up.
and it's 5 feet?
Yeah.
5 feet tall?
So-
And so the actual above grade element of this sign is really only 11 feet. So
Goes back up.
as I'm talking myself into becoming more comfortable with it, I think that's an important point to raise.
Yeah, I drive this one all the time, and it's like, it actually fits in that corner, I think. As I said, it wouldn't be appropriate everywhere, absolutely not, but I think it's very appropriate here.
And Mayor,
Alderman Baggett.
6 feet on these seems too short. Right, and that's what I think has been recommended with the staff recommendation. 6 feet, I think if we were to readjust our sign ordinance, which I know is a part of it, I think there would probably be more allowance than 6 feet here for this kind of type sign, which is established in a lot of high-end developments that we would model ourselves after. So I do think that's why I'm leaning towards that. I would, the one on Corporate Center Drive, this is the one that I've always been a little bit, if you were going to, and this is where, I don't know, if 15 feet, 14 feet, 13 feet, they're professionals and they've done this, and we've got staff that have made recommendations as well. So I think the Corporate Center is the only one that if you were going to take a foot off, I would, because it's half the size of the flagpole in this photo, and maybe a little bit smaller on the art by just a little bit, but other than that, I know 6 feet's probably too small for the future of signs in this area of this type. And by the way, the sign actually with the lettering is still the same. I think it's still within the. So it's this outcropping that is the question, and we don't have any really specific guidelines on this kind of stuff that's going to be coming to us, I think, is the signage of developments change. So those are my thoughts. I'm prepared to support it, but I mentioned that just to see if there's any other feedback.
Alderman Potts.
Thank you, sir. As I look at it, and as I was trying to do measurement from left to right there on page 3 on one of the commercial real estate signs and doing a straight line across, it's not that much taller, it appears, that you're just catching the very tips of the blue and the orange as you go across. So that the height there doesn't necessarily bother me. My initial concern was, how does this open us up to other signage on these corners? And I'll share that on the corner of Corporate Center, similar to Alderman Baggett, if this was a solid sign, I would be much more concerned about it. But because it has such an open design to it, I actually think it does work. The height going up on the blue chevron halfway up the flagpole is a little concerning, but again, for this area being redeveloped and where it is, I would actually be in support of it, just because of the open design of the signs.
Yeah. Good.
Mayor,
Yeah, let's see.
Alderman Berger, was your motion to approve MOS as the applicant asked for?
Yes, absolutely.
Without staff recommended conditions?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I might say
I'm
too,
fine with
yeah,
that.
and I might just add something to what Alderman Potts said, the sign is open and it's see-through and it's flowing. It's not a brick wall. So that makes a big difference too in the visual. Yeah, I think that was a good
Ready
point.
to vote on modification
sure.
standard number 2? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to modification standard number 3, requesting to allow 9 flag signs and to add vinyl and painted aluminum with graphic perforation as an allowed material. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Potts. Any questions or discussions? Ready to vote? Modification standard number 3. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Modification standard number 4 is requesting to allow 8 convenience signs that are a maximum of 12 feet in height and may have a maximum of 19 square feet per side with internal illumination. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Appropriate motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Potts. Any discussion?
Excuse me.
Ready to vote?
Yeah, I
Yes.
do have some on this.
Okay.
But when we didn't get to discuss this at work session. This was there at the end. I think it was and so there's.
It actually was an old agenda. It was not on tonight's agenda.
Yeah. We had.
Right, but I'm saying, we were down to the wire, and we didn't get, we were kind of rushed there at the end of the meeting. Anyway, so that's why I feel like there's more conversation tonight than normal. The internal illumination is I'm prepared to support it, but the examples that you gave on the freestanding directory signs, which that's this, correct? This is freestanding directory signs?
These are convenience signs, so these are a little bit different.
Convenience signs.
So if you, I don't know what page it is on there. Do you know?
What's 4?
18 or 19, 20, 21.
It's right here. See what they're talking about? Yeah.
And I also looked up for you some additional information regarding the provisions of external versus internal illumination, just so that you have it as reference if you're interested in it.
The next one,
Okay, great.
because I think that's where my main
Okay.
concern was. Okay.
Any
Thank
other
you.
comments
No,
on
sir.
4? Any other discussion on modification standard 4? If not, we'll vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to modification number 5, requesting to allow a maximum of 2 freestanding directory signs with a maximum of 21 square feet and 9 feet in height. In addition, the structure shall not exceed a maximum of 42 square feet and shall have internal illumination and electronic display.
I would move for approval for modification standard number 5 and like to speak to that as well.
Okay? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor. You're recognized, Alderman
Sure,
Berger.
thanks. I've been observing these directory signs many different places, and I think, first of all, directory signs are really extremely helpful to people when they're in a development. And when you put these all on these buildings, people are like looking and looking and looking around for these buildings. And when you have a freestanding directory sign, it makes it so much easier for people to find buildings. And here's a good example at the campus over here at Columbia State. But also, I'm very familiar with the ones at Avalon, and they work extremely well over there. And if you go ahead and look at this one page back in here, I think Avalon has some really good directional signs, or not directional signs, directory signs. And I was contemplating this, why would I agree to this? Because I think it really helps the people when they're internal to the site. These are internal to the sites, not outside. So when people are looking for places, let's not make it more difficult for them. And it continues their branding, I'm sure, as well, but standalone is more visible. And when they're placed in a directory sign, you eliminate the need for more signs. And I'm all about eliminating a lot of signs. Let's not get into sign after sign after sign. And then you end up putting, something in the ground and the landscaping sometimes to direct people to your building or what's there. So I think these directional, or this directory sign, the freestanding, and they're only asking for 2 of them, which I thought was interesting. But I do think it eliminates the need for other signs, and it helps wayfinders. It's a wayfinding sign for people who are in your site. So that's why I like to see that approved. And I don't think the 9 feet height is excessive at all, if you take a look around here. And I think the one at Columbia State is 9 feet as well. Thanks for providing that, by the way, because I was wondering how high that one was. I was just over there a few minutes ago speaking to a group of people, and noticed it. And I did a double take on it. I was wondering how high it was. So that's all my comments. Thanks.
Any other comments? Alderman Potts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So initially, I had big concerns about the signs, just because it's different. Then I took a step back as the consumer, and I started thinking about me and my family and traveling and all the travel sports that we do. And we go to the hotels, and then we're getting into the hotel and the large parking lots, and we're trying to find a restaurant to walk to. We're trying to get to multiple places in that area without getting everybody back in the cars to then drive 10, 15 minutes to wait another hour, et cetera. The kids have all this energy, et cetera. It's just, it's part of the entire experience. And so as I thought more about my own personal experience, I thought what this does is it animates the space and it lights the space. And that was the reason I draw attention to that is this area is an older area. It's got large mature trees. It creates large shadows. It creates a lot of darker areas at night. And so the illuminated signs for me, and also having it with the electrical boards to help me get around, it makes sense. It may not make sense in every area of our city, but when we're trying to redo this, I'm looking at the people that are coming in from out of town, that are staying at the hotel, they're going to 2 or 3 or 4 of the different restaurants there. So I just say that, just keep it into perspective. So for me, that's how I'm viewing this, and it is different, but for this area, it makes sense.
Vice Mayor.
As a branding guy, I've been pretty good with this all the way through, most of this signage. I think as a city, the encouragement of more walkable developments, we're going to have to solve for ordinances around directory signs. Wall-mounted is not going to work when we're creating walkable communities, so I think we got to resolve it. They're internal, so I don't really necessarily have a huge issue with them being internal, although you said something today that for the first time had me questioning this signage, which is you talked about LED screens projecting in these. I will tell you, I don't love that. I still think, I think what Columbia State is a classic. It's a good look. It's pedestrian friendly. We start doing LED screens in signage, even if it's internal, that starts to go a little further than what I think Franklin is a little bit. I'd welcome an explanation of what you're really envisioning there, but I will say that element of it didn't land quite well with me, so.
Sure. What we were envisioning in there was with, I think you've probably seen it at retail developments where sometimes it's a touch screen, you can interact with it. If you're looking for a specific tenant, then it can tell you
Can you
like how
speak
to
up a
walk
little
to
bit?
that tenant.
Yeah.
It's interactive, but it's flexible. So it's not like an LED reader board that you would see at a sports venue. It's essentially like a digital screen for exterior use that mimics your iPhone. So it just gives flexibility for the owner and how they program the content so that it could be static, it could be video, and if we need to clarify that, we can clarify the language to specify which it is. But that screen resolution allows them to be able to have interactivity. If you want to search for a specific tenant, if you're searching for a restaurant, if you wanted to search for.
If you're saying something like at the airport where I get it, if the minute it starts playing videos and ads and all that and flashing lights, you've lost me. If you can keep it to a directory that is searchable, movable, in those contexts, I can get behind that.
Perfect.
And this is, Mayor,
It's a good point.
this is my,
like that
that was the piece of new information. Are any of these examples that type of screen? Do you know the Canton Crossing
Canton Crossing would look like?
It's the three examples. Are any of those the digital?
The Avalon directories are. So if you see the page that's got the Avalon, I think it's maybe the fifth.
Oh,
or
yeah,
sixth page
with
in
the
there.
square inside.
They're completely digital.
I mean, well, and we've got one more reading. No, this is the development plan.
This is good. Right here.
I have no problem with the height. And this is where, and I know staff is working on it.
This is well done.
Sign ordinance
You know.
updates, which this would be fantastic to have thought through. Because this is where stuff is going in these developments. I mean, and so I'm like you, I don't want it to look like a New York subway station with a lipstick ad or something going on it. But if it's actually directional, that's one thing. Is there a way, legal, that we could specify that in this? I mean, this is
his
You
ad.
can amend the motion to specify what kind of digital
This is your-
display it is.
in content. I mean, that's the question. You can't regulate the content. I know.
Once you say that.
Right.
How about lighting?
We can't, yeah.
Can you talk about lighting?
The point of digital.
Uh,
I mean, same thing with like billboards that change and are more screen. Like you can't say what they put on it once they turn it digital, so.
And is the applicants, I certainly trust to keep their word, and it's going to be digital, but then one day you might sell it, and they might want to put TikTok videos up there or something, I don't know.
Oh, gee.
But like, I think that's where we've got to think through this ordinance, and I don't know of a solution to do, because I like the concept and the vision of where this is going, but that was the one.
I mean, you could always, at this point, say no digital until you get your sign ordinance fixed. And at that point, they could ask for maybe modifications at that point. Since you don't actually have any rules set out for how you handle
That's
digital.
way too controversial.
Once that happened and we had a new sign ordinance, would they have to come in and amend their PD with the new
They'd
sign?
have the
or
development plan, yeah.
Oh, jeez, no.
They couldn't
That's
just
the
get a
only other
sign
way to do
permit?
it. No, I don't think you get a sign permit because
That's too intrusive. Can I ask?
So once the development plan's approved, they're actually vested under the regulations that are in place currently. So even if the ordinance were to change in the future, then what's in existence today would still apply. So they wouldn't be able to basically come under the new standards without coming
Yeah.
back to you for a new modification.
And this is another reason why the sign ordinance would probably need to be addressed, because it's not kind of fair to go through a PD rezoning to get some new signs.
May I make a comment?
Go ahead, Alderman Caesar.
Just for confirmation, I'm looking at page CO.1, and you've got, and just so that I'm on the right page, the J at the bottom, which appears to me to be green, but my color recognition is not
Which
excellent.
page are you on?
Are these the two locations of these signs?
Oh, that.
Is it the green J?
Yes, that's correct. They're in landscaped areas that are
Oh,
essentially
yeah,
like
yeah.
laws outside the.
They're all in Trump.
It's just those two.
Yep.
Let me ask another question while he's up here.
No, that's
Okay,
Mr.
go
Mayor?
ahead.
So you mentioned the Avalon sign is yours. So if I'm looking at this sign here on that same page, opposite of this page, opposite of the layout, that Avalon sign, you've got Avalon and then you've got the internal sign right here. Is that yours?
Yes.
So is that your intent to put this sign like this? I mean, that illumination and that internal, because it's not,
Yes.
it's not crazy.
That's a, hold on. So for clarification, that's on page C0.D.
C
Like
O
a
dot
bunch of
D.
food on
Looks
the-
like a bunch of food.
Yeah, CO dot D. Yeah, the food sign. So is that similar to what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. I know right where that sign is, I've seen it. So I'm like, okay. I've seen all those signs, right?
Mr. Mayor, I have another question.
Go ahead.
As we dig into this again, I love the concept, but as we discuss it more, because we don't have an updated sign ordinance in place, with this one right here, again, this is on the page COD underneath Alpharetta, Georgia here. Do you know what the lumens are for that sign, how bright that sign is? Does it change during the day versus at night?
I do not know the answer.
I know that's
to that
three different
question.
questions, but
I do not know the answer to that question, but I can find the answer out for you. We work with different vendors throughout the U.S. that are specialized in creating the hardware and the software for those types of directories, so I could easily find that information for you.
Okay. And I just asked because I'm thinking if you're 100 yards off and that thing's popping off like a giant white screen is kind of the concern. So that would be good to know.
Alderman Peterson.
Just to ask a question, whenever I'm looking at the green signs on C.1, they are really next to the new, or close by the new restaurant, and then
The other was next to retail, I
the other
believe.
one's next to the, I think it's new retail, right?
New retail.
That's what I thought. So they would be next to the new.
If you look at page CO25 in the back of your package,
Got
it's the last page, next to the last page.
Oh,
There's a
I see.
contextual image that the
Yes.
building's not built yet, but that
Yeah,
shows
yeah, I
you
see
it's
them.
internal to the
Thank you. Mhm. So those the two that I named were the right places.
Well, if there were ever two that we were going to do before we had regulations, the locations of these are such that it's not like they're going to be visible from the outside. But maybe this is good feedback too for planning as we go to do the new sign ordinance, like, here are concerns. No.
I call a question, please.
Any opposition to moving forward with the vote?
None whatsoever.
We're voting on approval of modification standard 5. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Modification standard 6, requesting a reduction in the base rate parking for the uses of restaurant, retail, and hotel. Is there a motion?
I move
Move
for
to approve.
second.
Seconded by Alderman
And-
Peterson. Any
and-
discussion?
And that is to say that because they have all that other place there, it's going to be kind of shared.
Any other questions or comments? Ready to vote on modification number 6. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go back to the original motion with all those modifications that you approved. Are you ready to vote on that? Or is there any further discussion? Seeing none. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now move on to another item, which I think is item 13 now.
Thank you all. Appreciate that discussion. Thank you, Mayor.
This is a public hearing consideration of ordinance 2024-10, an ordinance to rezone 2.90 acres from regional commerce RC6 district to Plan PD 65.4 3607 district for the property located north of Cool Springs Boulevard, east of Mac Hatcher Memorial Parkway at 101 Cool Springs Boulevard, the Caroline PUD subdivision.
Thank you. The proposed zoning and entitlements meet the minimum recommendations of Envision Franklin and the regional commerce design concept by providing a mix of uses that include commercial and multifamily residential. Although the amount of activated ground floor commercial use is minimal, very similar to approved developments nearby. The site layout provides an urban feel with building-lined streets and creating a walkable development, and provides architecture that fits in the style of the corridor. The regional commerce design concept supports a mix of uses, and the uses proposed with this project are supported within this design concept. Staff recommends approval of ordinance 2024-10, as does Planning Commission. Happy to answer any questions.
I have one public comment card, and that's Drake Reeder.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. My name is Drake Reeder. I'm a landscape architect with Gamble Design Collaborative, here on behalf of the applicant. We're here tonight to request a deferral so that our off-site road improvements will line up with our development plan, public hearing. And so for that timing to take place, like for them to come together, we would need a 60-day deferral for that. So that's our request tonight.
Do you have a specific date? We can, would that be the first meeting in?
It'd be the first meeting in August, because you only have one meeting in July, if you want 60 days.
So that date would be,
That would be August 13th, sir.
thank you.
The July meeting, we would request
Which
that.
Early
is
July
July.
one meeting in July,
9th.
that's the first, the second Tuesday. I'm sorry?
July 9 would be your only meeting in July, and August 13th is your next one.
So we request the July 9th meeting. That should give us plenty of time to line those up.
Okay. Is there any other public comment? If not, I'd entertain a motion to defer to 7/9/24.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yep.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
That was unanimous, so we'll now go to item 14, Resolution 2024-13, approving a development plan for the Caroline PUD subdivision for the property located north of Cool Springs Boulevard, east of Mack Hatcher Memorial Parkway. Is this asking for a deferral also? Okay.
Yes.
Want to say anything, Joey?
We request deferral to July 9th.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion to defer to 7/9/2024. Thank you, Alderman Potts. Is there a second? Alderman Peterson seconded. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 15, this is a public hearing acknowledgement of a report of Resolution 2023-49, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of property located at 4436 Pratt Lane outside the southeastern part of the Franklin urban growth boundary of the city of Franklin.
Thank you. We're not deferring this one.
Yay.
There is no vote.
The property is zoned estate residential and was annexed into the city by referendum in October of last year and has no active development applications with the city. So at this time, the city has fulfilled any and all of its obligations as outlined in Resolution 2023-49. So there will be no other reports given for this plan services. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 16, this is a public hearing, consideration ordinance 2023-37, an ordinance to amend Title 23 of the City of Franklin Municipal Code to revise definitions, clarify requirements, and correct grammatical and typographical errors in the stormwater management ordinance. Does anyone want to speak to this item?
These are, periodically, we update the stormwater ordinance. These are a very minor change, and happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you for sending.
I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
So move.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill.
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Ready to vote? We're going to start to my left. Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton. I'm sorry, Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
And Alderman Barnhill.
She's calling in. She's calling in, so
Yeah, she's calling in.
she's probably watching going, what are they doing?
Okay, this is new business. Item 17 is consideration ordinance 2023-41, an ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the Title 16 of the Franklin Municipal Code concerning road impact fees, establish a public hearing for May the 28th, 2024. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second by Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion?
Just-
Is there
Mr.
any
Mayor?
clarification as to the time of
Yeah,
implementation?
we
Yeah.
provided you with two options.
That's right. Uh-huh.
Option one, I think, is a two-phase in, which had been the original recommendation, and option two is a three-stage phase in.
Yeah, the other item to note is when you start to actually apply the inflationary number, And so in the first option, you go up half in the first year. The second year, you go up to the full amount. The third year, you apply the inflationary number. On the second option, that inflationary number is applied every year, but it's broken into 3 years. So the important parts are when do we apply the inflationary number and how you want to break that up, the increase.
Which one
intrusive.
gets it going faster?
I think the first option A is the clearest.
Option one.
Option one is the clearest option.
I'd like to amend my motion
Would you
to
like to
clarify.
clarify your motion?
Yes. I'd like to
Please.
clarify my motion to approve, or motion to approve option one.
I agree.
Appropriate motion,
Okay.
second.
Would you like to explain that further?
I'm not seeing the option.
I want to know why that option is more,
Which one?
well, what Matt asked.
There's a
Can you
chart.
explain that? Because
I can.
I want
I think
more
so.
clarification.
And I heard a lot of different opinions up here, so we tried to provide
That's
two
right.
options. So in the first option, it's increased
Exhibit, yeah. Two
halfway on January 1st, 2025, and then the full increase in 2026 and 2027, we would start applying that inflationary factor. So it's still really 3 times, we'd apply that inflationary factor every year. The second option, which is option 2, is that fee broken up into a 3-year increase, but you're still applying an inflationary factor each year.
Every year.
So I can't even exactly tell you what it's going to be until about December of the year prior. So I do think option 1 is the cleanest, easiest way to do it. I don't think there's a big impact between the two, but you really don't know until they publish the numbers.
So the inflationary number doesn't really get applied till the third to 2027.
In first option,
First
that is
option.
correct.
Yeah, but every year the inflation gets put on for
Thereafter.
option 2.
On option
Okay.
2, correct.
All right, I see that.
I think it provides some predictability
Yep.
in the first couple of years to those that we're applying the fees to.
Yeah.
While still getting us where we need to get
Yeah,
to,
okay,
so.
Yep. Good point. Thanks, Paul.
Ready to vote?
I'm sure. You're up.
Starting to my left.
Can we,
Alderman-
just point of clarification, we are voting in support of option one.
Yes.
for
He
this.
amended his motion, correct, Mr. Raymond?
He restated his motion.
Did we get the second on that, too?
You
Yeah.
did,
Yeah,
Alderman
okay, yeah,
Barnhill.
Okay. I thought you said, just
Starting to my
clarify.
left, Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 18 is ordinance 2024-14 to rezone 1.11 acres from residential R4 to office residential district for the property located north of West Main Street and west of Roberts Street at 1138 and 1142 West Main Street. Establishing a public hearing on June the 11th, 2024. Is there a motion?
I move to deny.
Second.
Appropriate motion, seconded by Alderman Baggett. Any discussion?
I'd like to know why.
Oh, I'm sorry, you weren't here at work session.
Yeah.
This is a.
I had to leave for
Sure,
that.
happy to explain. While I understand there is some mixed use on West Main, this is a predominantly residential area. We are in need of maintaining some housing stock, especially in these neighborhoods. I don't know to what end we would continue to change residential areas to commercial. And I'd also echo, I think there was an earlier comment too, that it does start to change the neighborhood the minute you start to make those changes. I thought that was a good point as well that Alderman Baggett made. So, and I think I'll let Alderman Baggett speak to his ward, but.
You hit the nail on the head.
So I'm trying to figure out exactly where this is located.
Right at the bend of,
Right,
just
yeah.
west
When you-
Main, when you make the bend,
When you
Roberts
ma-
Road is to your right. These
Yeah,
these
so
are
it's right on the right. Okay, got it. There's a lot of commercial out there.
Any other
It's
discussion?
right
Isn't there a-
past our $800,000 bridge.
There's a service station and then a laundromat, and then I think it transitions quite dramatically into residential.
Correct.
Yeah, I was wondering. Excuse
But
me,
the
one
planning
minute.
commission recommended 8 no. Is that what we're looking at?
Okay,
No,
got
that's
it.
for it.
I get it. Okay, I just want to look at the map.
Any other discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
No.
Alderman Caesar.
No.
Now, we're
We're voting to deny.
He made the motion to deny.
That's
The
what I
motion is
thought.
to
I just want to make
approve.
sure.
So I'm voting no
To deny.
on the motion to deny.
We're voting whether to deny.
Exactly, that's what I thought.
Yes. Can I change my vote?
Yes, you may.
Yes, I got
Alderman-
twisted there. I should have
Alderman
asked.
Peterson,
Yes.
Alderman Berger,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Alderman Potts,
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes 6-1.
Thank you.
We'll now go to 19, an ordinance to remove .18 acres from the Central Franklin Overlay District and zone into the Columbia Avenue Overlay District for the property located south of Margin Street and west of Cummins Street, located at 314 Cummins Street. Established public hearing June 11th, 2024. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second to the Vice Mayor. Any discussion?
Okay. Obviously, this was discussed at work session.
Yes.
Is this anything that I missed that I need to know about this? Because was the discussion in favor?
Go ahead.
Was the discussion in favor of this?
So this is a request for the overlay district to be rezoned from the Central Franklin overlay, which is all properties within basically the Matt Catcher loop, to the Columbia Avenue Overlay District 1, which is, this property is surrounded by that, and those properties fronting Columbia Avenue. This property just doesn't actually front Columbia, but it would still be part of the Margin District development. So in order to come under the same standards, they're wanting to rezone into the Columbia Avenue overlay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we can see, yeah, you have the
Yeah,
pictures there.
okay. Got it.
Okay,
All
any
right.
other
I just wanna
questions or
make-
comments?
Clarify that. Thank you.
Alderman Barnhill,
Yes.
Alderman Caesar,
Yes.
Alderman Peterson,
Yes.
Alderman Berger,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Next is Resolution 2024-19, awarding the construction contract to Garney Construction for $7,830,530 for the Lewisburg Avenue Downtown Area Water and Sewer Improvement Project. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Potts. Any discussion? Let's vote. Starting on my left, Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
And Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 21 is Resolution 2024-23, making certain adjustments for retirees electing coverage in Option 2. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Appropriate motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Let's vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 22, Resolution 2024-35, to reject all construction bids for the Water Reclamation Facility Rehabilitation and Resilience Improvements Project, City of Franklin Project Number 2023-015. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Deny. This is a move to
Oh,
approve,
I'm
to
sorry.
deny.
To deny.
To reject all of them.
Reject all
To
bids.
reject all of
Sorry,
them.
yes.
Motion to
Move
reject all.
approve to
Remove
reject.
to approve to reject.
Move to approve to reject.
Well, you can still consider the resolution, which is, you would be voting for the resolution, which is to reject.
Right.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Alderman.
Whatever he said.
Is everybody, thanks for the clarification, Alderman
You're more
Barnhill.
than welcome.
Is there any discussion? Ready to vote?
Please, no.
Yes.
Alderman,
Oh, you know, you hadn't got to me yet, have you?
Somebody wants to go home.
I think I will start with you, Alderman Barnhill. How do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Caesar, how
Yes.
do you vote? Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Potts?
Yes.
Alderman Baggett?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Any other matters come before this board? If not, I'll entertain.
I'll channel
Executive session.
Alderman Blanton.
I'm sorry?
and,
Executive session.
Oh, we have an executive session. I need a
Move-
motion to go into
move-
executive session.
Move to adjourn to executive session. Need a second? Okay.
All in favor? Is
Aye.
Aye.
that okay?
Move along, little doggies.
We just did a voice vote. She didn't say anything, so we're going into executive session.
Oh, hot air left.
Somebody in the audience wants to speak?
Okay,
Such a good public servant.
are any matters to come before this board from executive session?
No, sir.
Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Alderman Barney. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.